Assalamualaikum and good day to everyone. In this session, I will share to you on how to use LMS for your final exams. But first, once you log in, select the specific subjects or module that you wish to do your final exam. On your screens, for example, if you want to do a final exam, you need to select your specific subject and then select specific sections if you wish to edit and add your questions, your final exam questions. But first, turn the editing on. Right, I want to have a specific sections for my final exam. So I write it down, final exam. Click enter. Alright, for now, you have a specific section for final exam. Now the next step is that you need to add an activity or resources. Here you can see all these activities available through LMS. So you can check and select. For final exam specifically, you need to choose quiz. Right, in these sections, for these settings, you need to set up your final exam paper. In order for your preparations, you need to have a copy of your final exam, a soft copy, so that you can copy and paste directly into LMS. So it is much more easier for you to do all the settings. Now, the first thing first is it compulsory you have to do a name for your final exam. If you wish to have the same name, you can do that as well. So here it is descriptions. For students, you can set up as a display description on course page. This probably an instructions for your students so that they can navigate the final exam easier. Either way, this is an optional for teachers or lecturers to display all added information, or otherwise you can remain blank. The next step, once you already set up the general settings, is the timing. Now, for example, if you wish like a specific date and time, saying on 18 October at 8 a.m., then close the quiz. It's optional, either you wish to remain it open until, or you can set up the time limit for your final exam. For examples, I don't want to close the quiz, but I wish to have the students need to complete within 2 hours, saying this paper required for 2 hours exam. Then when time expires, this setting will control what happens when the students fail to submit the answers. So here, choose the open attempts are submitted automatically. For instance, if the students disconnected from the internet, so they can continue later on, whatever the remaining time available for them. So grade. This one, you can uncategorize your grade or grade to pass. It is optional for the teachers or for the lecturers to set up. Attempts allowed, unlimited, grading method, highest grade. So basically, either you can choose it or remain optionals. The layout, every question. So for example, if you have MCQ or true-false questions, usually you are around 10 questions per page. But in these settings, you can choose either 2 questions per page or 1 question per page. But this can be changed once you add questions. If you click the navigation mode, show less or show more, which is students can navigate either they want to go to first page, second page, and going back to first page, so it's free. Next one, question behavior. Shuffle within questions, yes. This one also, there are other settings for your questions to be set up later on, but this I will show you later. So each attempt builds on the last, no. Review options, this one you can tick and untick, whichever apply to you. More or less, this can be try and test later on, but it is currently as a common feedback or common settings or default settings for your LMS. So here, untick everything. So I will make sure that the students not be able to know that their answers is wrong. So basically, you can note here the attempt, and then with the correct marks here. This one I can't. This is the settings that the LMS already set up earlier on. You can't change any of this unless the blue ticks here. You can change whenever necessary. So appearance. If you wish the students show their pictures or image or some things, so it's optional also. Save exam browser, this one if the browser, let's say if you're using Safari or Chrome, Google Chromes, or any kind of process. So basically you just say no. Extra restriction attempts, so usually if you wish to add the passwords, you can add your own password here. Click the I buttons here, so you can see this is, you can't be seeing what kind of password that you set up. Here, reveal your password. Overall feedback, if they got specific grade. So common module settings, restrict access. Let's say if you wish these questions be available to all sections, even you are not teaching that sections as well, so there's no restrictions. However, if you think that there's necessary for them to have, the students need to meet some requirements, so they need to do it as soon as possible. So restrict access, I've shown this settings on the previous video. Here you can choose either activity completion, date, grade, group, user profile, or restriction set. These add restrictions purposely to ensure that all the students have valid marks, or perhaps comes from the same groups or anything else that you wish to create instructions for them. Activity completions. So here students manually mark the activity as completed. This is very important for you to monitor if they able to attempt the final questions, the final exam questions. So save and display. So now this is how it works. You have the final exam, then this is information that you already noted out during this early general settings, and these are the instructions that the students can view, saying the quiz open on a specific date and time. So you need to the students need to have their passwords. So here you can edit quiz. Right. On the following video, I will show to you on how you want to do a final exam by setting up all the questions for ACES questions.